Hello everyone, this is Mike and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at unlocking users in Active Directory, which should be a fairly easy script to put together. So this is episode 3 in my PowerShell Build a Script series. So what we're going to do is take the different commands, different commandlets that go along with unlocking a user. So things like doing the actual unlock, resetting the password, setting the user account so they have to change the password the next time they log in, and basically just build a script out of it to simplify it. So we're going to be looking at displaying a list of locked out users. I'll show you a technique to use using out-gridview, and add a parameter to do the actual resetting of the password if we wanted to do that. So in some cases, we might just want to unlock the user if they happen to know what their password is and just did a mess up, like their cap lock was on or they had a stuck key on their keyboard and didn't realize it or something. Like they know their password, they don't need it reset. And then add a parameter in that would allow me to unlock and also be able to reset their password all in one go. So let's switch over to the lab environment here. And first of all, have a look at what the commandlets are that we're going to need to use. So if you look here, there's basically 4 commandlets that are involved here. So you have a search AD account to find locked out users. We would have to unlock someone, so that's using the unlock AD account commandlet. Set AD account password if you want to reset the password, and you would have to pass it in. The new password parameter takes a secure string, so we would have to use this bit of code right here. Let me kind of move over a bit. We would have to use this bit of code right here to create a secure string, because that's what that commandlet's going to need. Right? So you can feed it a straight value, but we'll actually make a parameter out of that. And then finally here, setting a property on the AD user that they have to change their password the next time they log in. Right? So those would be the 4 commands that would be needed to use. So hence put a script together to maybe automate or make it a little easier to potentially be able to use this. Right? That's kind of the goal of what we're after here. Right? So to start off here, just like I would do with pretty much any other script we were putting together here, I'd normally start off with commandlet binding at the top, using that functionality to make an advanced function, bringing in support for different extra stuff I want to use. So things like verbose, debug, error action, any of that stuff. Add in a parameter block, oops, right, and then kind of we'll go from there. So ideally, the only thing I really envision here is a parameter to reset the password. Okay, so the script itself is about unlocking users. So I'm not going to make that a parameter. That's the whole function of the script. The second thing is I'm not going to have a parameter for the user I want to unlock. I'm going to show a technique here that will allow the user to see what accounts have been locked out. I'll show you how to do that without grid view. So that way someone runs the script and immediately pops up a list of users that are locked. They could pick one, it unlocks them, and away we go. All right. So also before I get too far in the weeds on this script here, in my little lab environment, I have a couple user accounts. I just call them user 1 and user 2. And if you look at both of them, you can see that they are in fact locked. Okay, so they have been locked out. On my little lab demo here, I have a lockout policy of 3 bad attempts, and that'll lock it out. So user 1's locked out, and user 2 is currently locked out. All right. So I do have a few accounts that'll show up here when I do this. So to start off here, like I mentioned, I was just going to do a parameter. I'll grab it as string for whatever the new password would be. So that's it there. And it's not going to be required because, or mandatory, I should say. It's not going to be mandatory because in some cases the script might just unlock a user without resetting the password, and in other cases it might. Right, so just string, and it is a single string, so I'm not going to add the brackets there. I'm not going to be adding multiple values in here. We don't need that. All right, so that's fairly simple right there. Okay, so the first part here is we want to find the locked out users. All right, so that's done through right here. this search AD account locked out. And in fact, let me just kind of bring up the console part of here. If I go ahead and I run this just on its own, let me clear that screen there. If I run this just on its own, you'll see it does actually produce two results here. We see user one. Oops, hold on here. We see user one and we see user two as the accounts that have been locked out. So this gets me that list of who's actually been locked out. So what I want is, from a script perspective here, I want it to pop up a dialog that I want to look at to make it easy for the person running the script to pick the user. So to do that, we could take this and take the output that would normally be done to it and just to grab the, let's say, what would be the best property here? Probably grab the SAM account name. So just show that. So in order to do that, I need to take the user object here and just grab the value out of SAM account name. So I need to enumerate it. So basically, there's a couple ways to do this, but I like to use for each object, and I'll use the member name parameter, and then I specify the property that I want to grab the value out of. So that's SAM account name. So that has the username in as string, which is ultimately going to be what we want. So ultimately, if I just run that piece there, you could see what it's actually producing. So user one and user two. And in fact, if I pipe this here, let's go ahead and run this. But let's pipe it to get member. And you could see it is in fact grabbing the usernames, the same account names as string, right? As string, right? So that'll be good to work with when we need to feed it to other commandlets that we have here. Okay, and ultimately I want the user to be able to choose. So I'm going to use a trick here where we're going to grab that and we're going to send it to out-gridview and output mode single. So when you do this, this is kind of an interesting thing where you run it, and what it does is it pops up the out-gridview dialog and it has the results, but notice you can select and then notice the OK box down at the bottom there. And that actually allows me to select one of the values. And ultimately, if you go stored in a variable, like let's say we'll do dollar locked user, something like that, this will put that value into there. All right. So let me bring this out here. Let me carriage return after that pipe symbol. So it's still, so we can see it all, but it's still considered one line of code. So we've basically grabbed the user, we've selected the user that's locked out. All right. And before I get any further, let me go ahead and save this script here. So demo, we'll call this, I don't know, demo one, and away we go. All right. So that way we now have it saved. So basically, if the script is run, to start with here, it pops up this dialog, allows me to pick the user who I want to unlock, hit OK. I'm not going to do that right now, but if I hit OK, that would put that value into here. All right. So now all we want to do is basically just work with that. Right. So the next line here, unlock AD account, that's an easy one. Who do you want to unlock? Whoever's in that variable, right? Locked user. Then the next two pieces, I only want to have run if new password parameter is used. Right? So in order to do that, we'll just throw an if construct in here, and we'll use the automatic variable that PowerShell has in a script called PS-bound parameters. And that variable, PS-bound parameters, right, is basically a hash table that has all of the parameters called when a script, a function, or a commandlet is called. So what I want to know is if new password was called. So I could do this by doing PS-bound parameters dot contains key, okay, which is basically you're going to have in a hash table you have keys and you have values. So the key would be each parameter, like the actual name of the parameter, and then the value would be whatever value was supplied when you use that parameter. So the parameter name is the key, the value is whatever data you feed to that parameter. So in this case, I just want to know if new password was called when the script was run. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for new password. All right. So that's basically my if you will. Okay, so if the script is run with that, that'll output as a true, and in this case, we'll have a script block that's going to run. All right, so I'm going to put these two pieces into this script block here. Okay, that's part of the if. So we'll kind of tab them in a little bit. And then the first one, I'm actually going to grab this as its own piece here, just to kind of make it a little easier to see. Let's get that out of there. And we'll go put that as the first line underneath the if here. So what we want is we want to take whatever was the password supplied. So in this case, we'll take new password and put that right here. Right. Oh, in fact, I don't need those quotes there. Let's get that out of there. All right. So we'll put that there and we'll save it as maybe secure pwd. I just make up a variable name. So I now have the password in as a secure string. So this is just taking it as a regular string, and then in the body of the script, I'm converting it over to a secure string. And this is the commandlet and the parameters you need to do that. So then we're doing set 80 account password. Who's the user? It's not user one. We want to use the variable that we've established for the locked user. Put that in there. And then whatever the new password is, so that would be the secure PWD, which is needed as a secure string. So if we take this one right here and we go and look at the help on it, okay, you'll see say new password, and you'll see it does need a secure string object. All right. So we got that, and then finally we need to change the user account so that they have to change their password the next time they log in. All right, so that's just done right here. So set 80 user, identity locked user, and maybe an extra space there. Change password at login and setting that to true. All right, so that's basically it. Right? It's not a lot of lines of code. However, if you're looking to make it how shall we say, make it a little easier for, let's say, a help desk person to do this, maybe a script is nice. All right, so we can go ahead and save that. All right, and then if we come in and run this, so what I call it, demo one. So if I go ahead and run it, first of all, pops up a list of users, and I've lost a user. What happened there? Let's see. Did in my foibles here, did one of these? Yeah, it looks like they got, okay, so that one's still locked. So let me go ahead and just do a little trick real quick here to go ahead and relock user one. So it's a different user. So user one, throw junk password at it. And password. Okay, so now that should do it. So that should have locked user one back again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's try this again. Sorry about that. So run the script. I can see the users that are currently locked. I can pick a user, right, and hit OK. And now that user is going to be unlocked. All right, so that was user one. All right, so I go ahead and look, and user one has in fact been unlocked. All right. Now, if I also know that I want to reset the password, I can use the new password parameter, give it a value. What do I want to set here? I know, do one of the typical Microsoft. I don't want to use dollar signs. It'll mess it up. That's one, if anybody's taken a recent Microsoft class, it's a very popular password to use there. So go ahead and run that. So again, what's the user I want to unlock and assign that password to? The only one left to pick is user 2, so not too hard there. Click OK, and away we go. All right. So that now, if we go back and look, we could see user 2, and they have now been unlocked, and that password has been set. And you also notice the value right here. User must change password to next login. That has been set as well. All right. So that's basically it. So we put together a quick script around the 4 commandlets that you would use to unlock a user, reset their password, and make it so they have to change their password the next time they log in. So nothing too drastic there, but just something quick to put a script together for that might come in handy for a help desk person that maybe does this on a routine basis. Right? So again, if you any questions, please drop them in the comments and let me know. Uh, we'll also, uh, if anybody has any ideas of other build a script series, please let me know as well. I'm always looking for new things to write some topics for videos about. And if you like some of the content I'm putting up here, feel free or to like and subscribe. It greatly helps the popularity of the channel and gets it viewed by more people, which I think is pretty neat myself. So anyway, so thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.